we will get started. First thing to do is the pledge. So if you will all unmute with me, and I don't expect you to stand, you can sit and we'll do the pledge. So I pledge my head to clear thinking,
my heart
to
greater loyalty,
my
hands to larger service,
health to better living,
to be healthy living,
my
club,
club,
my community, my country, and my world.
Thank you for humoring me through that. It's always a lot of fun to do. So this is actually now the third Leader Project virtual session that I've done. So welcome tonight to that. First thing off is I'm going to introduce you to the program, 4-H Alberta's program staff. Suzanne Stone is our Chief Program Delivery Officer, and then myself is a program coordinator, and Sydney Walsh just joined our team the 1st of September, and she's a program coordinator and will be mostly in charge of member programs, summer programs, and that Sydney comes with a wealth of experience doing junior programs, outdoors. She has run a ski shop and done all sorts of things like that, and she knows kids quite well. She got to spend last weekend at Senior Symposium with the group of kids there, and just couldn't believe the awesomeness in our 4-H kids. So that's fun onboarding Sid. So we're going to start talking about project standards. As a project leader, become familiar with your 4-H project standards, which can be found on 4halberta.com. Project standards help guide 4-H members and leaders as they advance their projects for completion or competition. Projects such as beef, equines, sheep, and SALTT have 4-H Alberta project standards. If a project you're leading does not have written standards provided by 4-H Alberta, this is an opportunity for you and your members to be creative and adapt as you go. If your project does not have official standard, keep in mind that you're still required to follow 4-H Alberta guidelines and procedures when representing 4-H as a project leader. And we make reference to the Alberta Reference Guide. Project standards guide the operation of 4-H projects for the consistency among clubs across the province. 4-H Alberta Provincial Volunteer Advisory Committees review and guide the updates to project standards. 4-H members and leaders must be aware that clubs, districts, and regions may have additional rules or standards above the 4-H Alberta project standards. For more information, you can contact your district, your region, or committees and see the 4-H Club's constitution. So now we will just go through the SALTT project standards for anybody that doesn't know them. So these were last revived in 2020, and the advisory committee does go through these yearly to see if there's anything that needs to be updated, or if a leader brought something to the attention of their provincial rep, then we would see if it needed to be addressed in our standards. So 4-H Alberta members registered in the science, art, life skills, technology, and trade projects must follow the project requirements as set out by 4-H Alberta in consultation with the Alberta Science, Arts, Lifestyle, Scales, Technology, and Trade, SALTT for short, committee. Projects that fall under the SALTT standards are the ones that are listed there. Project requirements, provincial or federal laws and licenses govern some 4-H projects. Members and leaders shall be aware of and seek current legislation and guidelines for their projects areas and follow them accordingly. Where provincial or federal laws differ from this policy, the most stringent shall apply. Once members have met safety, licensing, and operation guidelines based on legislation and industry standards, they can, under leader supervision with the consideration for the current 4-H insurance policy and their skill level, participate in a safe manner. Expectations for successfully completing all projects within the scope of this policy are identified in the 4-H project manuals. Safety of the 4-H members and leaders must be the first priority of all project groups. Safety requirements for each project must be met and taught at a project meeting, including the safe handling and storage of tools, equipment, and supplies. Each project group should have at least one presentation for the members that is specific to the safety requirements of the project. Participation in projects in the trades will require meeting minimum industry guideline for health and safety with regard to equipment, eyewear, supplies, training, and etc. These guidelines must be strictly followed during the 4-H project working days and events. Food safe guidelines must be followed when handling or preparing food. All equipment and tools related to a project must be present, fully functional, and in good repair. It is recommended that a qualified first aid provider be present at project meetings and events, and a first aid kit is on hand. Leaders should have adequate number of informed adults present at each project lesson to effectively supervise members working on projects. Event organizers have the authority to refuse or remove dangerous or unsafe projects or demonstrations from the events. Members must abide by event rules as established by the event organizers. Achievement Day, each project in a 4-H club should hold an achievement day suited to the project and the 4-H club goals. Club or interclub project regulations. In addition to the basic provincial minimum project industry requirements, there may be other regulations established by club or interclub project committees. It is the members and leaders' responsibility to know these rules and regulations. The individual organizing committee is responsible for administering and enforcing rules and regulations. The last one, regulation violation consequences. Anyone violating any of the above requirements will not be able to participate at any 4-H event relating to the project area during the remainder of the year. If due to unforeseen circumstances, a member is unable to finish a 4-H project in the traditionally accepted manner, the club, district, regional committee, and or club leadership, along with the 4-H member, need to consider and explore alternative methods that support a successful completion of the member's project. 4-H Alberta provides a safe, fun, and inclusive environment for our members that is supported by caring adults who recognize that in trying times, 4-H can also be flexible and accommodating to best serve our positive development focus. So, pretty small but effective guidelines that we have for the SALTT committee. So the next slide I will share with you. Is there any comments? I'm sorry, I'm not watching the chat as I'm reading anything. Does anybody have any questions or comments about any of that?
I think the one thing I just mentioned, Tracy, is that a lot of the projects in their record books or their guides do have other further information pertaining to those projects that can be found.
Good comment. Thanks, Tanya. So the resources available, leader resources, there is usually project leader guides for projects that you're doing. Another option is the Canada 4-H Learns library. If you're looking for something specific, sometimes there is stuff there. 4-H Alberta YouTube channel, there is some consumer decision-making things there. There's also some videos the kids have, when we used to have a virtual skills competition. So there is things there for people to watch and maybe get ideas from. There's some great resources on the YouTube channel. And then of course the other really good leader resources is being able to talk and use other 4-H leaders that, you know, are trying to do the same project or something. Member resources, there's the member project guide, basebook record book, and then your project insert record book. Club tools. All your resources are available on the website or on the ePrint site. I did put the ePrint address there for Staples that has most all the, well, it has all of our resources on there that you can order, and you don't have to pay for those resources when you order them. This year we've put on we've gotten some new stuff there. There's a family orientation guide that talks to new members, and we've designed some stickers, and there's thank you cards, redesigned public speaking certificate, and also another appreciation certificate. So if you kind of look around on the website, there's some cool new things that we have managed to get on there. So oops, there's nothing. So the next thing is advisory committee, and I'd like to, if you don't know, Tanya Reist is the chairman of the SALTT committee right now for 4-H Alberta, and so Tanya's just going to tell you a little bit about the provincial advisory committees.
So the provincial advisory committees are established, and each region gets to vote a member on each committee. And that normally happens at their last meeting in spring or their fall meeting every couple of years. And it's a good representation. Ideally, each committee has a full slate of members, because that way we get the biggest cross section from across Alberta, the most input on the committee. I think these committees are to help plan the projects. Good question, Donna. I am from the West Central region, and it is my second term with SALTT committee. So that we help promote and plan the projects in SALTT. So we help with the science days. We're helping with the project in a weekend coming up here. We do any leader learning days related to SALTT, those types of things. We look at provincial standards for SALTT, any concerns that are brought to regional meetings that need to be addressed to SALTT committees, those reps take them back to the SALTT committee. So I don't know, I'm kind of looking, there's quite a few of us on the SALTT committee. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add of what we kind of do, but they're really important, these committees, because they're driving information. And yes, I would absolutely be a resource for someone in SALTT. You know, I'm more than willing for people to reach out and chat with me for different things. Your rep, whoever your rep is in your region, is more than willing to reach out. You know, we want to hear from people what their concerns are relating to SALTT projects, because if we don't hear, we don't know what we should be talking about and what we need to address.
So along that, I know the other night it was mentioned, like, there's nowhere maybe that you know who to search out. So your best point of contact is me. So if you email programs@4hab.com and tell me what you're looking for, what area, and then I can put you in contact with your SALTT rep, and you can bring up concerns that way. That's kind of the best way that we came up with that could help you locate your people, right? So
Donna, we meet SALTT meets almost every other month about, and we meet fairly often through the year. We usually take summer off. The SALTT contact list, I don't think is on the website, is it, Tracy?
no, it's not. That's why I said contact me.
Yeah, you'd
I'll
have
put
to
my-
contact Tracy. I'm trying to keep up with the chat as it goes by here. And we meet by Zoom. So yeah.
Yeah, if you contact that and then just tell me what you're looking for, and then I will, get you in contact with your area rep or just straight to Tanya, okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
I can put my email in here too, Tracy.
Okay. So the next part of the session here tonight is that the committee wanted to split you into groups that maybe you were looking for ideas on. Kathy is here to help with creative options. We have Jody is on here, or she was. Did she jump off? Oh no, there she is in that corner. So we have Jody, who's the resident archery pro, and we don't know what we'd do without Jody. She's doing a really great job, you know, getting kids enthused with archery. And I don't know, what are some of the things that you guys are maybe it is a really small group, so I don't know if we do need to go into small groups. If you have a question, relating to the project that you're working on, or how to do effective creative options, or if you're looking for ideas, just ask the question, and these ladies are highly skilled in those areas and would be more than happy to help you. Does anybody have a question to start it off?
I have a question.
Perfect, Donna. Go ahead.
And I'm sorry, I have a squeaking dog in the background because she wants to be outside the office. But then as soon as I put her out, she wants to be back in. So she just squeaks. So my question is that in the Northwest region, over the past several years, we've had some struggles with the best way to mark vet science books.
Okay.
Record books, and part of the issue that we're having is because, well, it's not just vet science, so it's small animal versus vet science, like trying to compare them within the same group. And so we've been, I guess my hope for kind of connecting with the province this way is that we can sort of start to use each other's ideas instead of trying to recreate the wheel. So I'm really curious to see what marking guide as a group you're using for your books. Lorna, I see you're here. That's so great because you and I are probably thinking the same way. Lorna's from Northwest as well. Okay. But our marking guides have been a constant struggle for us over the past 4 or 5 years to try and get everything so that we're comparing apples to apples, right?
You have to remember you're including small engines in that too. So you got engines and vets and
so they're all one category?
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, in West Central, I know we split out vet science from small animals, and we actually, all our life skills are completely separate from small animals and like horse and beef and everything else. So that's what we do in West Central.
Yeah, small engines is not part of other animals. Small engines is a life skills, part life skills, and those are two separate categories: other animals and life skills.
Yeah. That's
well, and creative
one.
Options can be kind of funny that way too, right?
It can be, yeah.
Creative option could kind of fall into one or the other category. Mm-hmm. So just kind of curious, like, I don't know how you share information other than through these program sessions, but sorry, you can really hear her. Sorry, River, stop. She's very sweet. She's just annoying. So I don't know how you would normally share that kind of information with the rest of the crew, but like, do you have a website or a Google Drive or something like that that you keep your marking guides on that we could kind of reference them?
I think West Central's is on the provincial website, Donna, that you could take a look at that one, or it was at one time under West Central Region. And if it's not, I'm also the chair of West Central. I can get you that information. Just reach out to me and remind me if I forget.
So I have another question, if it's okay to start another one.
No, go for it.
So unfortunately in our region, again, we've run into some lack of attendance with our Focus on 4-H event, which is a big summer event that we do for all of our projects, but the life skills component is huge in it. So we offer drop-in sessions, we offer pre-booked sessions, we buy a ton of supplies, we bring everything to Barhead, which is not right around the corner for all of us. Rent facilities, you know, make sure the ORS system is done before the middle of May. It's a huge undertaking. And unfortunately, the last couple of years, we haven't had enough attendees, so they've decided to cancel it going forward. So we're looking for new ideas as to what's working in other regions, as far as kind of a big multi-project show. So I welcome any ideas of what others are doing.
I know West Central doesn't really have a multi-project show, so I'm going to leave that for someone else to jump in on. So we kind of do more individual stuff, like we have our horse show and our beef show separate. So I'm going to leave that for another region to tackle that one.
I'm not sure I can add too much. Like, I know that the Calgary region does 4-H on parade. I personally don't attend it. Like, my focus is really, I guess, on local kids and delivering like really quality programming to our club members. And I think like that's really what I'm finding people are looking for right now, is that local community connection piece. And so I think that our region might be struggling also with attendance, but I'm not too sure. I can't honestly speak to 4-H on parade because I myself don't have much experience going there. I'm a project leader, Donna. I'm a project leader. I'm also the key leader of Nehill district, but it's a very small district. And we have maybe a unique key leader role where we just do 2-year terms. So this is my second of 2-year terms. It's not a life sentence for me.
I can pop in a little bit on the 4-H on parade. I am co-leading with Kathy. The challenge with the life skills at 4-H on parade is that the Calgary Stampede Grounds is very designed for animals, and really has the funding to support animals. So when we ask for more in terms of space of ability to, like, we've looked at your Focus on 4-H and gone, we want more activities, and we just don't get the room. We don't get the we're sitting outside a cattle ring, trying to do art and crafts in the dust, in the, wash racks are right next to us. So it's a struggle for us too, leading the archery project. For anybody who's familiar with the Calgary Stampede Grounds, we were given the old bull sail ring, which has horrible lighting, was too small, I should get a picture up here. They gave us the grandstand this year for doing archery, which gave us more room, doubled the number of targets I could have. So, allowed us to get more kids through and do more things like that. But it's certainly a challenge. Even with archery, I've got kids who are showing sheep going, I've got to leave because I have to show my sheep right now, but I haven't finished my archery round. So the priorities are really a struggle too, when we're trying to do some of that. So
I'm going to jump in on that too, if it's okay. I've got Kirsten listed up, but I'm actually Charlene. So Jody, I'm going to address the archery. It was awesome this year as opposed to the other year, but it was our kids in our club that mid-shoot had to go leave to show their sheep, and it threw them right off their game. So it was very upsetting to the kids that were shooting that they had to leave midway to go be in the ring. but I mean, the facilities compared to last year were phenomenal being where they were. So we still have to thank you for arranging that, Jody. I don't know how you managed it, but it was awesome as opposed to other years. But yeah, with conflicting schedules, it's really hard for the kids if they're in two different programs or three different programs. And then it kind of gets marked against them. Like our kids found that because when they're doing their animals, if they're being judged on showmanship, they're being dinged because they're not in and around the animal rings. Meanwhile, they're in the archery range. So they were kind of selected against in that issue because they weren't where the showmanship people thought that they needed to be.
Yeah, it almost gets me wondering if there's a way to kind of join forces, right? Now, Calgary and Edmonton or Calgary and Barhead are not right side by side. But if we were to say, do a provincial SALTT show and a provincial animal show, I mean, SALTT would include the small animals, but you go to the beef and the dairy and the swine and the sheep. Sheep's its own project, right? It's not a SALTT project, is it? Sheep. So
Actually, no animals are in SALTT
No,
anymore.
no animals are in SALTT.
Oh, there's no animals left.
No,
Well, this is good news for
nothing
you.
with a heartbeat. We always say
News.
And,
Good.
and what does the SA stand for in SALTT?
science,
Science and art.
Science,
science
art.
and art.
Okay.
Okay, that
Yeah.
helps a lot because now
Yeah. I always thought it was
Well,
still the small animal thing.
No,
Yes,
the
I
small
thought it was
animal
small
broke
animal too.
away a couple. How many
Yes.
years ago? About Tracy? It's a few years already.
Yeah, like it's before I started. I want to say 5 years ago.
Yeah.
probably.
I want to say we had that discussion when we created that 2020 document you were reading.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Science, art, life skills.
Trades and technology.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
We totally thought it was small animal. Hey, Lorna.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think
Somebody
a lot
forgot
of
to
people
memo
do.
the Northwest region.
Yeah, I
And
think
we at 4-H Alberta we can acknowledge the need for maybe a small animals advisory committee and know like there used to be a canine policy and Suzanne and I are definitely working on that side of it, and this is a much different part of it. But I just wanted to add that I think Kathy brought up a really good thing when she talked about that we're just seeing it more and more that kids want to stay closer to home, and they're not into the big events like they used to be, provincial and even regional. Like, I know a lot of regions are struggling to keep their regional camps going, or their sometimes regional events that have gone for years, and they're like similar to 4-H or focus on 4-H, and they just can't get the kids. I find since COVID, people really struggle to go out, and if they are, it's not to 4-H events, right? It's to other things, and scheduling and time of year seems to be a big problem. But I think anybody, that at a district level, if you can get just a few clubs together, your attendance seems to be better than sometimes trying to organize big
It's
events.
more local, right? Yeah, they're not going as far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think our biggest, I was going to say, we call it focus. Our biggest concern, like with focus, we were trying to regroup and just say, what is the purpose? What are we trying to achieve with focus? And it was, we was trying to allow the kids to see what other projects are out there and to be able to experience the different projects and see what they do, because maybe they didn't know. Like we've had different times where kids didn't know, well, this is what we do in life skills. Oh, cool. But the thing we also then discovered is that everybody is, with all the multiple projects, everybody is so busy in their own projects. Like the beef are busy the whole entire time. The horses are always busy the entire time. Some of those kids, like you had with the sheep and archery, they really want to do a life skills project, but they don't know when they're going to be done their level, whether it's canine or horse or and so then they miss their session. And then we found we used to just make it up or try and fit them in at different times, and it just became such a struggle to try and teach this class and then trying to catch this other kid up in a drop-in session, and we were going 10 different directions.
Well, and I think they need some downtime too, right? I mean, that's we pump them so full in that weekend that they're just busy the whole weekend.
So I think the challenge is just that unless there's each project was to downsize what they're doing so that the kids are all able to go to the others, but then
everything,
is it worth bringing your animals for an afternoon?
That's it.
It's not worth it, right? It's a lot of work to bring them to the shows. So maybe we do our own project events, but you make sure that others know that they can come and watch, they can come and see, and they can know that it's there. But
yeah, like our regional life skills fair is open to all of the kids, right? All the members. But it's rare that we get a beef kid come to the regional life skills fair.
Yeah.
So kind of on that same thing as for leaders, like for members, this is kind of what our struggle is, but also for leaders, we used to have, I mean, and maybe that's what this is, and I'm just not recognizing it, but there used to be like a SALTT leaders weekend, right? Where you'd get together, you'd network, you'd just sit around and have coffee and talk. Here's the sheep leaders. We'd all have a sheep on our little peg and, or whatever, and just see what other people are doing, what everybody else's ideas are for especially creative options. Yeah.
It needs to be brought back. The provincial leaders conference needs to be brought back to that, Donna.
It's coming. Yeah, they're working on it. I think they're talking to Kurt by the sounds of it.
The SALTT was different though. Like, I mean, you have the beef one, the beef weekend or whatever they had, right? And equine had theirs, SALTT had theirs.
Yeah.
And then the leaders conference weekend, it was more on leadership and your club and running the club and things like that, where I found that the small project-based conferences brought us back to our projects, and it was more project focus than leadership focus, which was kind of nice because it was that networking to see what other projects are doing, what other clubs and districts are doing. And it was just I guess because it was smaller generally.
I think what's been forgotten is the money involved in it. We don't have the sponsorship, so it can't be there. That's why we have had key leader weekends. We have no money.
Right, Bertha. Yeah, you're right.
It also, like last year, there was, a beef leader weekend. Of course, that, it's one of the biggest projects, and I couldn't even get 30 leaders registered for it. So, and when you ask the question, there's a lot of leaders just want to stay close to home, and they like the single day learning. So because they're so busy on the weekends and stuff too, that they feel like they can't take a whole weekend. So those are some of the things that we've, experienced and found out trying to host those things.
Yeah, like we find like with the rule of 2, we have a lot of like new leaders now because we need to have like a lot of basically every parent in our club has to be a leader, and they're they're a younger demographic. They're their kids are they're junior level parents, and they're just busy. They're busy in a lot of different things, and they're working and have commitments. And so I think there is a shift in what is happening with the leader demographic a little bit too, with our new leaders are looking for a different form of training and connection. But they're also the ones that are looking up information on YouTube and videos and stuff like that. So they'll bring ideas from Manitoba or like, so it's just, there is a shift in demographic that is definitely happening. It'd be interesting to see kind of like a little bit more data on that, but I've definitely noticed that in our club.
I have too, Kathy. And I think with that, since COVID, there's also been there's been a priority shift too, right? And Tracy's mentioned that too, about people not wanting to travel as much and everything else, like, and everything all plays together, and we're facing differences than we were 5 years ago. And yeah, it's tough. But are there any and other questions that are SALT related to specific projects? Like, I know I've led a lot of science and Lego and stuff like that.
So Donna, the intent of these were to, you know, for new leaders, right? To make sure that they were aware there was standards and there's an advisory committee that is willing to speak, you know, help you out in your region and stuff like that, and an opportunity to ask hard questions when we have, you know, some really good resources here that, you know, like, you know, project specific and things like that. So really we just planned the fall, kind of getting started and stuff. Jody has done, you know, she did one with the archery leaders last year. Like, if we see a need that we can just, you know, single out a project. I know the outdoors project, there's a leader, you know, that wanted to get together with other outdoor leaders, and you know, they spent a lot of time sharing and talking about some of the activities that they were doing, and you know, how that was going for them. So if there's, you know, a certain project or, you know, something that you see a need that you would like together, you know, get together, like, contact your SALT rep, and you know, I can always send out a link and do a registration. It's not tough at all. So, but I don't know how many on the call, like, do you have a lot of creative options projects? I know Kathy does. Or are your clubs more project specific?
I was wondering that too.
Lawnmowers.
That's cool. So
Engines,
small
then.
engines, awesome.
Are you racing them?
We have a couple different projects this year in our Rural Roots Club, and one is called Community Engagement, and the kids are choosing 10 community events to go to. The month before they go, they talk about what they're going to expect, how they're going to behave, what they're going to wear, you know, all of those things. Then they go to it, and then afterwards they evaluate it, like privately, of course, and then keep track of the costs and do the record book that way. And then we're doing another one called Junior Caterers, and we're basically doing the safe food handling course, but for kids under the age of 18. And they're learning that. So those are two different things that we tried this year.
Janet, can I ask a question about your community engagement?
Sure.
So what kind of events, like, are they going to, like, shows, or is it charity functions, or what kind of events?
It's a combination. The first one we're going to is the Remembrance Day service.
Oh, nice.
The second one we're going to is the train, the Battle River train is having a free thing where you ride along and then you go to a town and there's a Christmas event and you have to, and it's for supporting the food bank. So that's in, and then we're going to just things that kids, school play, bingo with the seniors, just different things like that. They have 10 events that they're going to see.
That's so
So you're,
cool.
so you're just, you're attending these, you're not organizing with them
No,
or
no,
volunteering? You're
because
just supporting
we are
them?
attending them because if in our area, we are seeing that there's lots of good planning going on, and very similar to 4-H, lots of good planning going on, but people are not showing up. And sort of over COVID, like some of these 4-Hers have missed 3 years of basic growing up in a community. And so this is like getting them back. Community engagement is what it's called. So that's what it is.
That's cool.
That is.
One of the things that our club did for the past 3 years, starting in COVID when we couldn't meet inside, we had started a project called, basically kind of off the Explore 4-H, but we called it Explore Alberta. And what we did is that we were looking for these hidden gems within our community. So it was, our premise was to find things within a 2-hour radius so that it could be a day trip, where we would go and either a hike or a community, like I said, a community event, or we did some, like I said, we're from the Westlock district. So it was like we did a road trip to see the big things, the giant things. So we have, the Tractor Museum in Westlock, and then the Barhead has their Blue Heron, and then Sanguda or to Mayerthorpe for the Fallen Four. And the kids really enjoyed it. And but from what they did from that, though, is we had them they had to make a brochure about one of those places that they went to, and to show either the road trip or one of the places, and then they shared them with the place that we saw so that they could promote where they've been. And the kids really enjoyed it. And then we would end off our year with a year-end trip to wherever the kids wanted to go, like to Jasper. And then they did the organizing, and they did, because some of them had never been to the mountains, right? So it was like stayed in a church basement and made all their own food. And it was really neat because they really, really enjoyed it. And we found lots of places around that were close by that they didn't know existed, right? And so it was neat. And so they continued it for the last 3 years. We were doing that kind of stuff. And then we kind of did more of a hiking based one where we were looking for trails and snowshoeing or trying different activities that they could do. So that was our answer to the COVID being outside.
Karen is no longer on the committee. She was, though, previously, Donna. I don't know if Northwest has a replacement for her, though, yet.
Yeah, so that's exactly why I'm asking, because we're meeting on the 6th. So, and I'm the chair, so I will add that to the agenda, and we will get you a wrap.
Okay, that's good.
It may be me, but that's okay.
So yeah.
Nick, tell us more about the lawnmowers.
Yeah, I want to hear more about the lawnmowers because that sounds so neat.
Okay, this lawnmowers project has been going for about, I'd say about 5 years now, and I am a leader of the club for the last 2. Kids usually go out and try to purchase or find a lawnmower that they can tear it right down, modify it within parameters of 25 horsepower, so they can speed it up and they can juice it up, but it has to stay within 25 horsepower. And then we basically get together twice a month or once every other month and do anything from small engines, electrical, I want to say electrical systems in a lawnmower or in an engine. And then towards the end, we race them. But we basically have different classes. We have our juniors, intermediates, and our seniors, and we race these things, and some of them have gotten pretty fast. So, and they all have to have the requirements of a dead man switch. So if you fall off, it kills the engine. They all have to wear chest protectors, helmets, and goggles. So That way they are protected. But the other leader that I am with, he builds a track and basically we race pretty much all day.
That's so cool.
That is neat. Ah,
It is fun.
Your
So
kids, how big is your
enjoy.
club, Nick?
yeah.
Big is-
Our club, just for our lawnmowers, is probably about 9 members.
Oh, I thought
So
maybe it was bigger. That's perfect.
no, it's we're just a small club, but we get everything from juniors to seniors. So and yeah, it's been lots of fun. So
That is neat.
Cleavers in the lawnmower? Probably not.
No, I would guess no.
we do allow them to attend some of the workshops and
Yeah.
race day, but we don't let them race because of it can be a dangerous time for them if it's overwhelming for them.
Yeah.
Cool.
That is cool.
Mhm. Kathy, I want you to tell me about the coolest project you're doing right now.
Well, I don't know, Tracy, I'm kind of lame this year. It's like you've all heard of it, maybe. I'm doing an art project this year.
Oh,
But last year I did a career exploration project. And so it was with our senior members, and it was basically like helping them develop a post-secondary, well, after high school transition plan. So looking at, we went to a couple of universities and did tours and that kind of thing. I don't know, Jody, what all have we done? This year we have a canning project. I'm not leading it, but it's really exciting. We're doing preserves. We have a local greenhouse that produces strawberries and tomatoes, and so they're going to be making strawberry jam and salsas and stuff like that. And that's new this year. We have a leather craft project. We do a lot of independent projects. One of the things that, we had kid last year do a YouTube channel. He's vegan. And so he wanted to make a vegan, like cooking YouTube channel. So that was one. I don't know. One of the things that we've really leaned into is allowing ourselves to not have to be the experts on stuff. Like we pull in local experts. So if we have kids that are interested in a certain topic that we don't have an expert. No, well, I'm not calling it explore, as I can't see the whole comment. Is it
creative options or exploring?
Explore 4-H? Not sure.
It's creative options. That is their project for the
Yeah,
whole year.
it is. Yeah, because like Explore 4-H, like from my understanding, Jody and I kind of like we co-lead together, and we've always thought exploring 4-H is like a different project every time.
Yeah.
Whereas these kids are diving deep into a project area, so it is like we have a large variety of projects, but they are looking at that topic for the whole year. And we will identify people in our community that have expertise who like they might not like they're working and they don't have time necessarily to do the screening, but we are all screened. So we bring, it's like if I was I teach junior high. I do the same thing in junior high. I bring in somebody to teach the class, and I'm responsible for the kids' safety and programming, et cetera, et cetera. And the expert is there to share their expertise. So we'll do a lot of that kind of stuff. So it allows me to not be the expert in things. So it just frees you up a bit. But you do have to, like, the challenge of that also is you need to have people that you can lean on to bring in, right? So it is using your networking skills a lot. I'm comfortable doing that, but I know like some people, they just wouldn't feel comfortable asking others to come in. Like it can be a barrier, but it definitely has freed us up to be able to like showcase or to introduce kids to a wider variety of things.
And with those independent projects, we will often push the seniors who are doing them to go find some of those resources themselves.
Yeah.
just to get
that's a
them open and
requirement.
engaging with people and doing some of that interaction.
Yeah, we put that, we have a form that the kids have to do, and that's on the form. They have to find mentors and people that they can look to for expertise. That's on that form that we have. We also don't allow first year members to do independent projects. We require that we've seen them, we understand that they are independent learners, I guess. So we don't even, I don't want to say that we allow all seniors to do it either, because sometimes, we need to be able to see what they can do and know that they can handle that independence, and that they are self-starters and are able to kind of push themselves through the project year.
So what do you do for your first year members, and how do you pick which projects you're going to do each year? Do you put it out to the kids, or do you say these are the 3 choices, whatever the majority picks?
No, it's all, we do it based on our leaders. Who do we have available to lead what projects? And so as our kids age in and age out, we will offer different projects every year depending on who's available to lead. So we had small engines for a couple of years, and then we didn't have a small engine leader. So we didn't offer the small engines project for a couple of years. We're offering it again because we do again. We had one year we did a maple syrup project because we had a guy who knew how to tap local maple trees. So we ran a maple 1 year only. It was, but it's based, one of the things that I also feel really strongly about is leader burnout. And so we want our leaders to feel comfortable in what it is that they're offering. So if we have somebody come to us and say, hey, I feel comfortable in leading this project, then if they're screened and they're a good fit for the club, let's run with that project. So it's really based on who we have that's willing to run that project. And so, it is a bit of a shifting experience, but it also puts a little bit of ownership on that project with the parents too, because to a certain extent, if you're a parent and you're joining our club, if you want your kid to have a certain skill that they have access to, you have to maybe consider leading that skill, right? If that's what you want for your kid. So otherwise it is just really based on what we have, what are the leaders that we have available interested in running, and that's what we go with. So it is a changing list every year.
So you're under a multi-club.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Yeah.
And when do you start talking about these conversations? Because here we are, October 26th.
Oh yeah, way before this. Yeah. No, we will.
Lots of our clubs aren't even up yet.
No, it's an ongoing conversation. Really, truly, 4-H is always an ongoing conversation too, right? So our achievement day we have our achievement day at the end of April, and it is open to people in the community to come. And really that's when we start talking about what are we doing next year and who's coming back and who's interested in offering what. We don't leave that type of conversation to the fall for sure. And then as we get into the fall, we have an organizational meeting in September, which can be tricky for people to I'm a farming family, a lot of people in our communities, farming families, but if people can't make it, we've had people call from the combine saying we're going to run Eskisons. They're going to run certain projects. So it is, but it is a bit of a juggle. But yeah, no, that's always a conversation of who's going to run what's going to be offered, what is maybe not going to be offered. And, is there anybody who's interested in taking that on? We're always recruiting for people that might be interested in leading a certain project. And then parents are aware that that's how we manage our project offering, is by who do we have available to lead that particular project. So we know, for example, right now we're starting this year going and knowing that our sewing leader, who's been our sewing leader for a number of years, is likely looking to be her daughter's in grade 11. So we might have her for only another year, right? So now we have to start thinking, okay, who might take over the sewing project? And so you start having that conversation, and the kids that are in the sewing project, they know, they're kind of looking around thinking who's going to offer that. And then also, like, what happens if you don't offer that? Do they feel like they have the skill sets enough to take that on as an independent project in the time being, right? Like, so it is like, there's a bit of a dance that happens all the time that you kind of have to be comfortable with. But at the end of the day, we find that it allows our leaders to feel supported and like they're leading a project that they're comfortable in, and that there's no pressure to like lead something that you're not comfortable leading, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
And
So
that's
like,
kind of how our multi-club works too, Kathy. So
because the question was asked is how do you delegate leaders to, oh, this is different. How do you delegate leaders to self-led projects?
Oh, like the
so
independent projects?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what-
independent projects are, so we require all of every family has to have one screened leader in our club.
same with them.
And so like that kind of helps with that.
Mhm.
And then when it comes to the independent project books, Jody and I kind of like that take on we check to make sure that they're complete. We're the ones assessing them. So I don't know if that answers the question. We have a form. So we require our independent projects, we give them a form that they have to fill out. It has to come to, we said the first business meeting of the year, right, Jody?
Yeah, because they have to be a returning member so that we know who's coming back.
Yeah. So we give it out. We have a meet and greet that we do in September also. So we have a leaders meeting and a meet and greet. Yep. I saw that one. That chat, I saw that you want a copy of that form. Yes, it is a good form. It's like simple one pager. And it just gets them to outline what their goals are so that we can identify something that they're working towards for Achievement Day. Every meeting we do project reports. So every project they rotate through. So if it's a leader taught project, so a group gets together, like my fine arts group, every kid in that project has at least one meeting where they're standing up and delivering the report on your art project or whatever. But all of our independent projects also are required to report to the club what they've done in their independent project. So we can kind of keep track that way as we go through the year that, yep, they're like working towards their goals and we know that they're doing these things. But yeah, that's a great little form. I will find it. And who do I share it to? Do you, Jody? Will you, if I give it to you, you'll give it to them?
Share it with Tracy and then Tracy can share it out.
Okay. Sure. I'll send it to you, Tracy.
And a good portion of that form is actually the front end of that record book to say, what are your goals? You need to spend some time already thinking about this. Because we've only got 6 club meetings, you have to have it approved in October in order to make sure you've got enough time.
Yeah. And we have sent some back. Like we've said to some kids, you know what, this doesn't really look like it's pushing you enough. You need to give it a little bit more. Like what can you do to push yourself a little bit more? So it's a conversation for sure with the kids to get them to push themselves. Oh, engineering. That's cool. We haven't done that one. Don't give us any ideas, Tracy Hughes. No, just kidding. That sounds cool.
Yeah. And I noticed now that it's divided into streams of engineering, and this will be our second year. The kids like to have the variety of engineering. So now I don't know how we deal with it.
No, you don't really have to change anything. The thing if you like we did change kind of the name of it to fall under the pillars, and that's just so that it's easier for 4-H Alberta to report to 4-H Canada. But don't let that limit your idea of what you're doing for a project is what I'm saying. It's, your project will probably fit under one of those, but don't let that scare you into thinking that you need to change your project. Please don't.
So when I order their resources, what is there still a general, just an engineering?
Yep.
For the kids?
Yeah, Yeah,
We haven't registered, or we just have kids in engineering, but I haven't actually gone to the ORS to put them in
Yeah.
but I noticed that there was streams now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I know
it,
Tracy, mine does general engineering too, and
yeah,
they love it. And
yeah, but it's your books don't change. You're still
no,
just getting the
Okay.
engineering book. It's just for reporting that stuff because 4-H Canada wants to know a little bit more specifically where these kids are fitting under which pillar more than the project kind of deal. So that's
Okay.
why it's a little bit more specific on that. So
Yay.
yeah.
Perfect.
What do you
I
do
know
with
this is
engineering?
last year it was sort of, we had junior and an intermediate. We only had 2 members in engineering. And each month they did a different project that they wanted to try. So one month we did a maze made out of cardboard and syringes filled with water, and they had to move the marble in the maze using the syringes. And then the next month we built catapults with Legos and tried to launch different items to see how far they would go and how tight they could do the elastics without the whole catapult imploding. And then they did an egg drop off a back deck, and we were handed a table full of recycled items, and they had to figure out how to protect the egg to survive the fall. And then on achievement day, they made a water rocket out of a 2-liter bottle of pop with a compressor. And the challenge was, how much PSI can we put before it explodes? So, and how far it would go. So that was their display on achievement day. So yeah, they did a variety of things. So
That's awesome.
this year we have 9 members in our club, and 7 of them are brand new kids with 2 existing from last year. So
Cool.
yeah.
Mhm.
ours
As
did like
well as
stuff like bridges and boats, and yeah, there's so much you can do within engineering. It's amazing.
Mhm.
yeah.
And if
And
you
our club is only well, I guess it's only a SALTT club lately. We've only got foods, small engines, archery, and engineering in the last 2 or 3 years now. So
And I was just going to add to that, if any of you that have cool engineering projects or, the science along the science, if you check out like Science Canada Science Fair, that is one of the most amazing things that I have gotten to do was be involved in the Canada-wide Science Fair last spring in Edmonton, and just seeing the variety of projects and things that the kids did. And please remember that 4-H Canada has a science fair, and and last year it was actually held at Olds. So watch for details on that opportunity for 4-H members if they're interested in that, because it is a pretty cool opportunity. And there's not a lot of kids in 4-H that will do the science fair. Like when I was there, it was mostly schools, but of course 4-H had a contingency that was there for kids from across Canada, and it was a pretty neat experience for sure. So if you have kids interested in that, that's a cool thing, really cool thing. So we're just about at the hour here, and the conversation has been great, and ideas. But I think I just want to talk about one more thing that the SALT committee has initiated along with myself, and that is the project in a weekend that is happening this weekend at the 4-H Center. And when Kathy was saying that to bring in people, that's definitely what we've done for this weekend. We've, brought in somebody from like we brought in experts, I guess, if you want to call them that, that's going to build a bottle rocket with the kids on the weekend. And they're going to not just build that, but he talked about coding. And I mean, I don't know what all is going to be entitled or, you know, in there. And then we have somebody that's coming to do photography with the kids for the weekend. And then also Tanya is volunteered to come and do watercolors. So right from building their own paint to painting a picture and stuff. So a really cool opportunity, and it's not really large this year, but I hope that it grows because I think it's really neat that the kids can come and they can do their project all in one weekend and then their project part is done. So hopefully it catches a little bit of air and we can, you know, get a few more kids next year.
And for those senior members that are maybe struggling to stay in 4-H because they've got, you know, sports through the year, or they've got jobs or whatever through the year, this can kind of free up because they can just come to their regular club meetings and do their community service and public speaking, their projects done in a weekend. That's kind of the idea.
So yeah, that's, I just have to do my little sponsor thing and then you guys can chat some more too, and then we can. So we would like to express our sincere appreciation to our provincial partners and supporters for their continued investment and support of our Alberta SALTT program. Thank you to the Alberta government, who is a Diamond Clover sponsor. Our Emerald Clover sponsors: Alberta Recycling, Eltalink, ATB, Calgary Stampede Foundation, CPA, Chartered Professional Accountants, and UFA. And our Silver Clover sponsor is Save On Foods, and Bronze Clover, Bayer, MCS Net, and Nutrien.